Video games and movies have something of a strange relationship. It started with one adapting the other, and then the other adapting the former, and what we got as patrons was mostly a horrid mess.
Pretty much, if a film did well at the box office in the early 90s, chances are it was getting a video game tie-in. And while some films were obvious choices, others, well, the mind boggles. Like, I need to meet the guy that saw this face and thought video game protagonist. Like, I really need to meet that guy. Now yes, most were terrible, but some were actually really good. Gremlins 2 for instance. Not to mention not one, but two really quite excellent Aladdin games for the Mega Drive and SNES respectively. And then, of course, there was GoldenEye, a game most to this day would call the definitive release of its kind during the late 90s. But we ain't focusing on the good, we're looking at the bad, the mad, and sometimes bizarrely scantily clad.
Is it original? No. Will it entertain you for 10 or so minutes? Here's hoping. Let the countdown commence! You complete me. Kill it, wrong footage. Go again, and 3, and 2, and...
The Hunt for Red October, the game. The game! Seriously, just why? Who saw the film and thought, holy fucking shit, that is just perfect material for a video game. Only just you make sure that the sub handles like a shoe. Like an actual fucking shoe. Honestly, this game just baffles me. The film is an exercise in suspense. Very little action actually takes place. It's what you might call a thinking man's thriller, you pretentious douchebag. What I'm saying is, Die Hard, this ain't. Tell you the truth, I'm not even sure the developers Beam Software even watched the film, as the game, get this, is a fucking side-scrolling shoot-em-up. A really shitty side-scrolling shoot-em-up. The Hunt for Red October. A game almost as bad as Sean Connery's Russian accent.
The first rule of Fight Club is, you don't talk about Fight Club.
That's right, voice actor that sounds like Brad Pitt recovering from a severe brain injury. Don't talk about the rigid controls and god-awful gameplay mechanics. Don't talk about likenesses to film characters that lurches from unrecognisable to meth addict and back to who the hell is that.
Just stick it out.
Don't talk about why Marla sounds like a Jersey Shore cast member.
What fucking game are you playing now? Put me in the fucking bus. Oh my god.
Don't talk about the ridiculous plot.
He had to deal with Tyler. He broke it. You break his arm.
Do talk about how Fred Durst is a secret character. A frankly ludicrous addition, but one that does have the surprising upside of allowing you to do this. It's for little things. Oh, Kevin Costner. For those that don't know it, Waterworld was a huge budget post-apocalyptic film, a 90s rival to Mad Max 2. Only where Mad Max had cool muscle cars, Waterworld had sailboats. Where Max had the ever-intimidating Humongous, Waterworld had, well, yeah, no surprises that this film bombed. A critical and box office turkey, if ever there was one. Now you'd think that'd make them at least reconsider releasing a game tie-in. Whether those conversations happened or not, we'll never know. But they did indeed decide to release the game anyway. Now, don't go getting me wrong, it's not the worst game that I've ever played, but it is still pretty terrible. To be honest, it's just really boring. You shoot tiny villains you can barely see until you clear an area. Then, as is logical, you go diving for treasure. Now there is some scary shit in this sea, some very scary shit. Waterworld has enemy rays. Fucking rays. Also, your guy handles like a shoe. Are we done here? Yeah, we done here. Platoon for the NES. Now, before Charlie Sheen took all the drugs, he starred in Oliver Stone's Vietnam War epic Platoon. The film was lauded by critics the world over and won a clutch of Oscars, including Best Picture. Still, it's not exactly the kind of film that screams video game tie-in. That said, genuinely, if they were trying to convey the feeling of hopelessness felt by the soldiers out there, then damn it did they succeed. It's like wandering around an impossible maze and exercising, getting completely and hopelessly lost. It's maddening! The horror. Oh, the horror. Of course, I sincerely doubt that the developers were aiming for a true-to-life guerrilla warfare sim. What's funny, although not that surprising, is that the developers of Platoon seem to have missed the point of the film itself. Where the source material is about the loss of innocence and the metaphorical war for Private Taylor's soul, the game is very much a kill all the bad guys and proceed to the exit kind of thing. Not that I ever did. Some say the real Dan never returned from those pixelated Nintendo jungles. I mean, I clearly did. If only to finish this godforsaken list. Onward! Take the biggest selling arcade franchise of the 90s and turn it into a film and you get this piece of shit. Take that piece of shit and turn it into a video game and you get Street Fighter 2 the movie, the video game. How? Oh my god, what even? Seriously, this looks more like Mortal Kombat than Street Fighter. How on earth did they fuck this up? And I'm not just talking about Cammy's digitised ass. I mean, this was the first game that had Akuma as a normal selectable character. Akuma, for crying out loud. But it's all for absolutely nothing because the game is just lousy. No, it's worse than lousy. It's horrific. A car crash of a game. To put it into perspective, they started with the blueprints for the greatest fighting game in video game history, and this is what they produced with it. Okay, fucking oh. And we're back. Sorry for the radio silence there, but I felt it necessary to ram home my point. What point? That was my first 20 seconds playing No Escape. 20 seconds of never-ending swarms who hit harder than you, are faster than you, and who keep spawning indefinitely. A1 game design. If you get past the first stage, then you get to meet Ernie Hudson, who lets you craft or trade, maybe? I honestly don't know. I never really figured this part out. What I did figure out was that this game is terrible. Also, seriously, what is the deal? That arrow is clearly telling me to go left, but I physically can't. It's stupid. The insane level of difficulty mixed with terrible controls equals a game which is completely lacking in any kind of fun. My advice to you is to simply ignore it. Which is what most people did to the film. Toys is a funny one. Like a lot of the films on this list, it didn't have the most comfortable journey at the box office, nor was it much appreciated by film critics alike. Still, with that said, as a kid, I really enjoyed it. I mean, it was toys battling other toys, with some Robin Williams thrown in for good measure. What wasn't to like? And while most of the films that are on this list weren't obvious choices to have video games adapted from them, I'm of the opinion that Toys was genuinely screaming for one to be made. I mean, I wish they hadn't, but still nothing more like it. This game is awful. Seriously awful. Poor controls, repetitive gameplay, and a soundtrack so bad it'll make you want to shoot yourself in the face. Toys really is one toy you won't want to play with. It's the Ghostbusters on Commodore 64 no less, and my oh my is this one bad game. Now, the story goes that the game's designer, one David Crane, wrote it in about 6 weeks, basing it on an incomplete game called Car Wars. Now, I'm not sure how the car's handled in that, but in this, the car handles like something inanimate. Something shiny. Something maybe wearable by a human being. Nope, my mind's blank. The game itself functions like a bit of a mess, with lots of seemingly different ideas all fighting each other for space. It's like they had 2 or 3 cool concepts and just hurled them at a popular license in the hope that it might sell. And you know what? I guess it did to an extent. But that doesn't change the fact that Ghostbusters stands as one ghastly impression of a game. Talk about crossing them streams, am I right? Back when Mike Myers was funny, i.e. before this, he starred in comedy sketch turned movie Wayne's World. Now the film and its sequel no less were both really great films, but I can't say they left me hankering for a Wayne's World game. Don't matter, you're getting one anyway. Oh joy, a game so ugly it looks like the background is made up of Escher's vomit. Also bagpipes for enemies. Fucking bagpipes. There is so much wrong with this game that I don't know where to begin. Seriously, it's that bad. Where Wayne's catchphrases were once funny, in this they're just flat out annoying. Now I'm often pointing out bad controls, but in this it's next level. Know before you say, not like a shoe, like a sock. Like a really wet sock. Just let that sit for a while and imagine. Ultimately, of course, Wayne's World the game is not worthy. It's not worthy of the license, and it certainly isn't worthy of your time. In fact, its only merit is that it exists as an exercise in how not to design a platform game. Hence why it occupies the number 2 spot on this list. Well, this is it. We've seen the bad, and we've seen the even worse. Maybe you've already figured out what tops this list of abominations. I say we find out. Now, chances are some of you saw this coming. Charlie's Angels the game is that infamous, a howler on the most epic of scales. Where to begin? How about that's not Bernie Mac? How about angels that look like sex dolls? How about those phoned-in voice acting performances? How about the farcical, and I don't care if it's ironic, plot? How about we just give this one a miss? No? God damn it. Now, a lot has already been said about it, but if I was to throw my 2 pence in, I'd say this. If you respect yourself as a child of this earth, don't waste your time playing this game. Don't even go near this game. If you were to spend 30 minutes, let's say licking a double-glazed window, then you'd have a better time than playing this game. It's horrible, god-awful, a cautionary tale, a massive fail, a blight on the landscape that is video games. I urge you, dear viewer, if you ever find yourself faced with Charlie's Angels the game, reevaluate the situation that got you there. Take stock, and vow to make better choices going forward. I've been Dan Smash, and this is me thanking you for tuning in to a Dude Quest Top 10. Thanks. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. You'd be helping out enormously, and damn it, I for one would love you for it.